I'm Shane Nyland, and my co-host is Blake Musser. And these stories you're about to hear are from Weapons Company, 2nd Battalion, 4th Marines, 1st Marine Division, about the events surrounding and directly from the mouths of the people who were in Ramadi, 2004. All right, man. Well, let's tell everybody who you are, what rank you were in 2004, and what platoon you were with.
Yep. My name is Joe Herscher. I was a Lance Corporal, and I was with 81 millimeter mortar platoon, and I was Rainmaker in Iraq.
Nice, man.
Yeah. Rah.
Well, kick it off wherever you want to start, dude.
Yeah. So, well, I definitely didn't ever know I was going to be a Marine. I had done 3 years of college, almost 3 years before I went to the Marine Corps. I was at Columbia College in Chicago, and I did a bunch of ad drop my junior year. I was a theater major. I wanted to be on Saturday Night Live my whole life. That's all I wanted to do. And
that actually makes a lot of sense.
and I remember I was home. I did a bunch of ad drop my junior year, and I only had classes Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So I had Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday to party. And so I was at home. I was doing laundry. I lived 40 minutes south in Kankakee, Illinois. And I was at home doing laundry. I was drinking beer, and Heartbreak Ridge came on. And I was like, this is the best movie I've ever seen in my life. I'm going to the Marine Corps. And I remember I was like, 1 o'clock in the afternoon, I'm already like half in the bag. I called the recruiter. I was like, I'm coming to the Marine Corps. Dude, I'm so stoked. Let's go. And he's like, slow down, Turbo. Why don't you call me back when you're sober? And I was turned up the next day. I called him the next day and that Friday, and I went in and saw him. And I was going to the Marine Corps. My mom like still couldn't believe it. And that was April of 2001.
Mm-hmm.
And then pre 9/11. And I was went to boot camp. I got out. I got meritorious PFC because I had college. Mm-hmm. And then I went to SOI, and I remember in the recruiter too, he's like, what do you want to do? I was like, I want to blow stuff up. I had a high ASVAB. He's like, dude, pick anything else. I was infantry. Like, you want to get out with something you can use? I said, I want to blow stuff up. He's like, you're an idiot, and signed me infantry. And I was like, sick. And then obviously 9/11 happened, and I was like, what did I do? So I was at School of Infantry, loved it, went to mortar school, and I loved the mortar system, and I excelled at that. I was like just always trying to be the fastest, always like push. And I remember, Samuels, John Samuels, and we were good friends, and we were in mortar school together, and we were always competing. We were like the fastest gunners. And in fact, when we went in, everybody else went to Kaneohe, and a few went to 8th and I. And everybody else went to Kaneohe. Samuels and I stayed in Pendleton and went to, like, we know what to do with these guys. And went to C4 because we were both like troublemakers, which makes a lot of sense. But yeah, so funny too, I got in trouble in mortar school. I'm an idiot, but I was drinking, and I had not turned 21. I graduated high school when I was 17. And so I went right into college. So I wasn't even 21. I was almost 21, and I underage drank at the E Club, got in a fight with somebody. No one said a word about it. It just went on. I was like, this is awesome. I'm not getting in trouble. And then the last day, there was talk that I was going to get meritorious Lance out of SOI. And I was like, there's no way. Well, I got called in, and they called me up to the thing, and I didn't get that. I got busted down to private. So it was awesome. It was my favorite. And so I was like, went to the fleet. So I go to 2-4, I go to the fleet, and I have snake bites. And like literally everyone had to say something about my snake bite. How do you have snake bites already? Who are you? And it's like, this is awesome. I didn't know what a snake bite was. I came to the fleet. And obviously all my camis had them too. So I was like, I can't wait to pick up again. Any rank. And then I think that's what Hodges, like the first time Hodges came up to me, like, you have snake bites? Oh, you're a real Marine. Thanks, buddy. I love this guy. He's like, now whip it out. Let me see it. I was like, wait, what? He's like, yeah, let me see it. I want to see it. I'm like, okay. Of course, I whipped out my junk, and then that's what started the whole thing. That was my introduction into the Fleet Marine Corps. And then the wristwatch became a thing from there. But
That's true.
I digress.
We could end the podcast right here. This is it. This is all the story.
I have many memories of you wristwatching yourself at bars and stuff like that.
Hey, you guys got the time? My watch is all dicked up.
Oh man, I don't know how we're gonna get kicked out of that one bar that was the one that you could pay for a one night membership to the smoking, like so you could smoke indoors.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that place?
Yeah. I do. It's so funny.
Man, I don't know how they didn't ban us for life. It's probably because we spent so much money there, but
exactly. Don't come back until tomorrow.
That's well.
Yeah. So from there, I in the fleet, and I loved it. I loved 2-4. Right when I went in, you guys had talked about this before, with all so much hazing going on, and I was into it. I thought it was really fun, but also, I remember being in the chow hall, and I don't know if you remember the two brothers, and they were yoked. They were just like roided out brothers that ended up getting kicked out like shortly thereafter, but they were just like flipping tables and fighting people in the chow hall. And I was like sitting in the corner. I didn't know anybody. I was like, dude, is this every day in the fleet? Like, is this what happens? It's just like, yeah, that was wild.
With 2-4.
Yeah, with 2-4, that's what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I loved it. And then, then we ended up going to Okinawa. And I loved Okinawa. And actually in college, I took Japanese language and culture 1 and 2. So I spoke quite a bit of Japanese. I could get by and be a little conversational, and it was pretty awesome. And because of that, I got sent to the Arabic school as well, which you did as well, right?
Yep. I was there with you.
Yep. And and I always thought our instructor was from Morocco, but
No, I don't think so. If I remember correctly, where was he from? But no, I don't think he was Moroccan.
Yeah. But we definitely didn't learn what we were supposed to.
No, he taught us Egyptian Arabic.
Right. And I remember like looking stuff up before we left, and then talking to some of the interpreters and asking, like, dude, how do you say this in Iraqi? Like, it's completely different. Like,
My biggest memory of that guy was how excited he got about the fact that my last name meant Egypt, and he was like nearly beside himself when he was like, oh. Anyways, so.
That's awesome. Yeah, but it was Okinawa was great, and I remember the first 6 months was pretty good. We had a lot of cool training, and I kept it pretty cool. I think I got in trouble once or twice. I was on a Liberty Risk. And then the second 6 months, it was like, okay, I pretty much just stayed on Liberty Risk. Any staff NCOs listening, I apologize. With me, I think at the end, like towards the middle of that, it was just like, okay, let's just keep him on Liberty Risk, because it's just he's just gonna get in trouble.
Well, dude, the second half of that deployment, morale was as low as it possibly could be, and blood alcohol content was as high as it possibly could be for almost everybody.
Absolutely.
I don't think I know a single person that doesn't have an alcohol-related incident that second part of the deployment.
Right.
Because that's when I got in trouble twice. And it was all in the second half. So
yeah, same.
Yep. Okay. Well,
I don't know how I didn't get caught more. I mean, Herscher, I think you were a part of that crazy fight that we got into at the, what's the name of the one that was the bar that was upstairs?
The East Coast was the one upstairs.
East Coast, the punk rock bar.
No. The one that was
Oh.
down, it's the place that had the arm wrestling station.
Oh yeah.
The red eye.
Red Eye, that's it. And then
Yeah.
and remember there was, I can't remember what was going on, but some people were like, I think it was some engineers that were trying to come up the stairs, and then there was a bunch of us, and I think it was you Hirsch, that they had locked up the guys because they were trying to keep them back down, and you pulled out like a knife. It was a pocket knife. You didn't open it up, but you like tapped it on the dude's head.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. Keep it up, buddy.
I can't remember what you said, but then they were like, okay, everybody out. And then they sent us down, and they had already sent shore patrol after us.
Which was Hasso, and he didn't know what to do.
No, I know.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
I think actually Reagan responded to that as well because he was fapped out.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
They sent a lot of people after us.
They did. we bailed. We got away with that one.
Yeah, we did get away with that one.
Erase this.
Oh man, that's too funny.
Good times.
So while this is an excellent workup, did you do anything else that was useful for later on?
No, I did not. No, I'm just kidding. I did. After that, then we came back. We started doing our workup, and I went pretty much. I did a few training exercises, and we went to pretty much right to the school and started learning Arabic. And you're kind of on your own at that. I think you guys were doing different training.
That's when they went to March.
That's when they went to March with Force Base.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yep. And so, yeah, we were kind of on our own, which isn't a great time for me. Who decided to leave Herscher on his own? And then, I did really well, and I liked the school. And then, we were shipping out, and I remember it's like, this is go time. Let's go. And we had no idea what we were in store for. Obviously, you guys have talked about that quite a bit, but yeah, I remember the plane ride was miserable. And I thought it was funny. We were laughing the whole time. I remember dancing on the pole, going to the bathroom back and forth. You had to walk that pole up to the front to go to the bathroom on the C-141.
Yeah.
And then you're just sitting there, nut to butt with everybody, holding your rifle, freezing, because we all had desert camis on, right? That's frozen. Breakdown in New Jersey. That was fun. Breakdown in Germany. I remember we landed in Germany, and that's when the fuel is flying out of the fuselage. You're like, "What's wrong?" Captain was like, "What's wrong?" "It's dead broke, sir." He's like, "What the hell's that mean?" And there's fuel spewing out of the side. And then remember the bus broke down. So we got on the buses because we're out on the tarmac, and we got on the buses to go back to the terminal, and then the bus broke down also.
I forgot about that part. I just remember. I remember them yelling, "Get back on the bus! Get back on the bus!" I forgot about the bus breaking down too. That's right.
Yeah, good times. And then coming in and so we actually Kuwait was pretty crazy because I remember there was the suicide.
Yep.
And thankfully, I just missed that working party. That would have been unpleasant at best. So sad. And man, I remember just thinking to myself, like, is this going to be, the first death of many? Or, that was rough.
No, I remember that hitting me pretty hard too. I mean, I didn't know the guy. He was, obviously he was in a different company, but it was, that was a somber start for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and I knew a lot of I can't remember if he was with golf. I knew a lot of the golf guys just because Samuel's, when he went to golf with the 60s. And then, so I knew a lot of the golf guys, but
my memory is that it was golf, but
I was gonna say, I don't have it written down, but I think so.
Yeah. So then,
the thing that struck me most about that was we had suicides before, right? We'd had suicides back at Camp Pendleton.
Absolutely.
And usually when they did that, they would do a safety stand down, and weirdly somebody would, in the Marine Corps' terrible, terrible way, they would check on you. But they check on you by making you do very unpleasant things like a safety stand down and sit in PowerPoint classes and that make you want to end your life more. But we didn't do any of that. It was like that dude shot himself in a porta-john and we never talked about it. Like it was just mentioned in a quick like company formation and then we just went about our way. It was very I don't know. I don't think anybody knew what to do. That was it was very unusual.
Yeah. Yeah. I just remember it. Yeah. It took me back for sure. It took me back. It was wild. And then, yeah, I think from there I flew in, some of you guys drove, I believe, but I flew in and then we drove from there on the 7 tons. And
what do you remember of the flight in? Were you heloed in?
I can't remember. I think that we were heloed in. Yeah. Yeah. And then we flew and then we drove in on the 7 tons. Yeah. It was pretty chill. I mean, you don't see a lot, that's like the desert of the desert until you get to Baghdad and then Ramadi and Fallujah. You fly over some of these areas, but for the most part, it's desolate. It's just desert. I remember in Kuwait just thinking how cool the desert was because I'd never seen the desert before. I'm from Chicago, like I'd seen Pendleton Desert, but it's so calm at night and so quiet and it's eerie. But yeah, I really enjoyed the desert and the 2 weeks of calm and chill at Kuwait, whatever it was.
So, and then, do you remember how many people were with you on the flight in? Just because I did drive up. And I was paying attention to what my small group was doing, but I didn't even know there were people that flew up until a couple months ago. So
yeah, I don't remember anyone that was on plane with me. I don't remember who was in the 7 ton either, driving there. I know it's so hazy. I don't know why we don't remember that. I think it wasn't early in the morning too. I think we flew up super early, like 2 a.m. or something.
I'm sure.
Probably.
Yeah, and so I'm sure I slept on the flight. I'm sure I was in and out the whole ride to Ramadi. I can sleep anywhere. So,
yeah.
So it's one of the skills you learn in boot camp. No, well, I know our situation was different with 81s just because we're personnel heavy and in relationship to the rest of the weapons company, that is. And so I think for the most part, the MAP platoons took everybody because by design, they had a spot for them to sit. But with our high back situation, we were loaded. We looked like the Beverly Hillbillies. With everything strapped to the back of our, in the bed of the truck. And so there wasn't any room for the rest of our platoon. So I think it might have been but I don't know if that's the case for the other companies. Is what I questioned. Did Echo and Golf and Fox, did they just all come up in the convoy in the back of the 7 tons, or
it sure seemed like it. I mean, there were so many 7 tons that were behind us in the convoy, but yeah, I don't know.
I don't know either.
Well, what was your first impression when you got there then?
I remember just being excited. I mean, this was originally a peacekeeping mission, winning the hearts and minds of the people. And I was excited to get out in town, try to use some Arabic and meet the people. And when we first went out, and it was great, talking to people and talking to little kids, and they were all pretty cool. And kind of, they always want Bebsi. There's no P. So, Mr. Bebsi, Mr. Chocolata. I'm like, bro, in fact, I remember calling my mom and asking her to send me a bunch of chocolate, which all melted. She sent a bunch, and it was just a gelatinous mass when I got it. And I was going to hand it out to the kids. But anyway, and then they want Pepsi, or, the Mr. the freaky. I'm like, freaky, what is, and then, the Tri Boy thing, and that's insane. But you have no idea going into it, and yeah, playing soccer, handing out soccer balls, and then his initial impression was I was pretty elated. I was pretty excited about it. I don't know how you guys felt.
Yeah, very similar. It was interesting to explore the city. I was in a different position, but I was very focused on not getting lost, and so I probably paid more attention to the map than I did to having freaky with little kids. But But it was an interesting culture for sure. And I was surprised at how big the city was.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was massive. And just the area was so much different too. You know, they'd have like a lush forest along the Euphrates and the Tigris, and then, you know, it'd go right into desert and then back up and into houses and into country and rural areas and then the city. And yeah, it was just massive. You don't realize how big it is. And I remember how incredible it was being at, you know, Uday's palace there at Hurricane Point too, where,
Yeah.
you know, the Garden of Eden may have been, you know, supposedly. And just, I mean, the rivers are beautiful. And being on guard, you know, we did that 5 week rotation eventually, where day QRF, day taskable, night QRF, night taskable, and guard. And I enjoyed guard too, because just, you know, being up there and being up on the bridge and watching over the city, it's really neat. Initially, you know, and then we had our few contacts, and then you know, obviously April 6th. I don't know if we want to get into that already, but all hell broke loose on that one. But
What do you remember the first few times that you guys got into contact with stuff? What's your first memory of shooting back?
my first shooting back was different. My first memory was the RPG that hit. And who was in that Humvee? The RPG attack. It was early on.
You mean that it wasn't our vehicles, it was against Fox? Is that the one that you're talking about?
Correct. Yeah. Yeah.
That was Lance Corporal Dang. Yeah.
Yeah, that was Dang.
You guys were the QRF for that, I think.
Yep. And I think Hodges drove that back. He was in there driving that back, like steering when it got towed. And yeah, so that was unpleasant. And then we got that back, and it's like, okay, shit's getting real. You know, that's when the realization hit. Like, okay, this isn't going to be all rainbows and butterflies. And yeah, and April 6th, our first contact, we were day QRF, and we were going to assist golf, I believe, on the 6th. And I think we met up with you guys, actually.
Eventually, yeah.
Eventually, yeah. We were on our way, and I believe the 6th was our first ambush. And I remember I remember talking to Savage afterwards, and I said, "What did they do to ambush?" I said, they just popped out." But he's like, "Oh, they put stuff in the road." I'm like, "What did they put in the road?" He goes, "Cinder blocks, 3 cinder blocks." I was like, "That was the roadblock, 3 cinder blocks." He's like, "Yeah, we would roll right over them, but the RPK started lighting us up from the side." But I remember just getting hit from the side, from the left to contact left. Everybody's yelling out of the vehicles immediately. I was a dismount. So I was a dismount the first 2 or 3 months we were there, and then I was put on the Mark 19, mounted on the Humvee. So, but yeah, so I dismount. We're all out. Sergeant Garcia is right next to me. We assault the objective. We're laying down cover fire. Savage is an absolute savage. He is laying, that 240 is just rocking. I mean, that's all you hear, and he was on it so fast. And we jumped through ceasefire. We jumped through over this little wrought iron fence, Sir Garcia and I and a few others, and we're mowing guys down. There's a few guys in there, 4 or 5 people. And then we keep going. We push through, and it's just this tiny little park. And we get to the end. We get to this wall, and at this big wall at the end. And I'm like, all right, in my mind, I'm like, all right, we assaulted the objective. We got to go help golf. Let's get out of here. And we get to the end, and Sergeant Garcia goes, "Scale that wall. Herscher, scale that wall." And I was like, and in my mind, I'm like, I don't want to fucking scale that wall. And I was like, we got to go. We got to help golf. You know, all these things are going through my head. And we got to help golf. It's like, and I remember saying to Sergeant Garcia, like, I don't want to scale that wall. And he's like, fuck it, fine, I'll scale the wall. And he scales the wall. I was like, son of a bitch. No, okay, I'm going. And so I'm like right behind him. We scale the wall. I'm like, I'm never going to hear the end of this. He's going to be so mad at me. And it's like we jump over this wall. And when we jump over, we're like, shit. It's just him and I when we first get over, and we're in the middle of an intersection, like wide open intersection, away from everybody. Nobody else can see us. And we see this vehicle like right to the right, and the trunk's popped open. And it's full of weapons and like old stick grenades, like Russian stick grenades, and like all this stuff. And they're like, oh, nothing we can do with it now. We can't grab it and throw it over this wall. So we scale back over the wall. We get back in Humvees and we take off. But I never forgot that. And I hesitated, and I was like, I don't want to scale that wall. And from then on, I was like, I will never let Sergeant Garcia down. I mean, I love the guy, and he was I was on his gun forever too on the mortars. So he was always, I just looked up to him so much. And great, his tutelage was just top notch, stuff I've carried with me for the rest of my life. And so, I disappointed him that day. He's fine, I'll fucking scale it. And but I never hesitated after that. So it was a great life lesson, and I haven't to this day. So.
That park that you brought up, was that the one that was kind of like a Disneyland one? The one that like they're the creepy ass. You know which one I'm talking about?
I do.
There was one.
It wasn't that one. No, this was just. It was almost just like a boulevard, like a tiny little. And it was like taller grass, and no, that creepy one. I think we called for fire on that. I think we called in. Cobras were on station, and we called in on that before though. There was a bunch of guys shooting out of that, which was one of the only times I remember calling for air support, which was epic. You don't even know they're there, and they bank around the corner.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
I'm jealous I never got to call for air support.
Yeah, it was awesome. And I didn't get the call for that one. I was a forward observer for a little bit. I was on the gun forever, and then forward observer for a little bit before we left. But I've got to call one 9-line brief in my life, and it was probably the coolest thing on earth.
Nice.
Wings level, cleared hot. You clear them hot. Nice, something through the cloud.
So after you guys assaulted through and all that, and you got back on the trucks, you guys linked up with Golf on Easy Street?
Yep, linked up with Golf on Easy Street. And I remember we dismounted and we were pushing through the street a little bit. And I remember taking fire there. We were pushing down the street, and we're kind of, we're bounding down the street, and there's some alleyways. And for the life of me, I cannot remember who is across the street. And I checked around the corner. I didn't see anybody. I just did a little peek, and then his alley was clear. They weren't like right next to each other. They were a little offset. And I saw his alley. He was clear, and I pushed him forward. And he starts going forward, and immediately rifle fire erupts right in front of my face. On the other side of his alley, there was like a little offset, like a little concrete thing that I didn't see this guy. And he just unloaded. And AK rounds start flying, unloads the whole magazine, and I'd like wait for it to stop. I peek around the corner and start shooting, and he's fleeing now. He's running down the street. We, Sergeant Garcia and I think somebody else, we run down the street, this little alleyway after him. We never did find him. We hopped the fence and then looked under vehicle, and he got away. Not stoked about that, but we got back on and got back on the street, kept pushing, and I had to hear it from the other guy too. He said, "You said it was clear. I'll never listen to you again, Herscher." I was like, "My bad. I didn't see him." And we kept pushing down the street. I remember through that first day, keeping bodies. I don't know if you guys remember this. They wanted us to keep the bodies to drop them off at police checkpoints.
Yeah.
And that was a whole shit show. And so, I mean, we had like all these bodies were dropping off at police checkpoints. And I remember like dragging some of them and putting them on the Humvees and putting them in 7 tons. And it was a whole thing. And that went out the window really quick. Day 2, April 7th, we were done with that. So,
well, I remember at one point driving past an intersection that was meant to be an IP checkpoint. It looked like something out of a horror movie. There was like 50 people like just in a pile. And I was like, well, how is that? What are they going to do with that? How is that effective? There's no reason for that.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then that day we had to, we were back and forth, and they had, Golf had quite a few casualties, and we had to go, we were in and out, resupplying and getting more ammo out of combat outpost. And I remember dropping off some wounded, and we were running in and out, and somebody was hit. I think they got shot, and then somebody else was hit with some shrapnel. Minor wounds. They were obviously for the time, and they were okay. Sure. And then grab somebody, and I cannot remember who it is. And I'm running him in, and I have his leg, and he's got his arm wrapped around me. We're carrying him, and Doc has him on the other side, another Doc. And I said, "Where you hit? Where you hit?" And I was like, "You all right?" And he said, "Oh yeah, I sprained my ankle." And I started laughing, like audibly, like laughing out loud. And at the same time, they snapped a picture. They're taking pictures of us carrying the window, which I didn't even see the guy. And I see the flash. And I'm like, I'm laughing, like, dude, what are you flashing in my face for? And we go back, we get ammo, we go right back out in town. And I remember April 8th or something, 9th, I guess, was like a pretty chill day. I called home, and my dad said, "Hey, you're on the front page of the Chicago Tribune." He's like, "You're a dumbass. I knew it was you. You're the only one laughing in combat." I was like, okay, what had happened was, in his defense, I think he was jumping out of the way of an RPG, and then like, yeah, it was great. So that's memories.
It is an epic picture.
But yeah, it is a pretty good picture. It's pretty funny, and I am laughing in it. And then I remember too, just pushing down alleyways. This might have been, into the 7th. We went back for a little bit, slept for a little bit, but I slept great too. People were like, I couldn't sleep. Adrenaline was so high, but your adrenaline's so high, you just dump adrenaline. And then I feel like we'd go back and I slept so good. Wake up first thing in the morning, it's, the city's erupted again. And I remember pushing through alleyways a bunch. And Sergeant Major Booker, we would always have to go get him. He's clearing houses by himself. I mean, he's kicking in doors. Didn't he carry like a M14 or something too?
Yes.
Yeah, he had picked that up like it was one of our missions that he ended up acquiring that from somebody, and then he carried that, I think.
I believe he got it from the Army.
Really?
Passed down to him. Yeah.
Oh, I thought he had picked that up on a.
No, they had it as a DM rifle, and our sniper teams brought in their own both sniper rifle and some DM rifles, so we had extra. Okay. And so he decided that was his old man weapon of war.
But yeah, when he was a scout sniper or something too, wasn't he?
Right, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. For recon.
Recon, yeah. So we would have to go get. I remember vividly Lieutenant Dobbs saying, "Hodges, go get him. Somebody go get Sergeant Major Booker. He's clearing houses by himself with his M14. He's on the roof, and he's got his Kevlar is on his end of his M14, and he's like, 'Shoot me, motherfuckers!' And then he pops back up, and he's looking. He goes back up, and he's aiming in. I was like, what is going on? We're like, and I remember somebody like, oh, he's metal hungry. I'm like, no, he's not. That's Sergeant Major Booker, dude. That is him. Yeah. And I remember, they Hodges had to go get him, escorting him out, or helping him clear houses and lay long. And he was an animal. But I remember the day, I believe that was the same day, Captain Weiler got hit with shrapnel as well.
Yeah.
I think, we took an RPG or a IED right there. And we were in an alleyway, and I can remember, you talk about the fog of war. We were getting shot at from so many different directions. The enemies all around us are in the middle of the city, and we're down an alleyway, and we're trying to push down this alley. There's some guys at the end of the street there, but we're getting shot at from the sides, from the rooftops. And I remember I was like, we took cover for a second, and I was next to Sergeant Garcia, and we're laying on the sand pile, and they're taking fire from the front, and we're laying back cover fire. And so everybody could push across, and I was like, what are we doing right now? What, you have that moment of clarity where you're like, what is actually happening? You're getting shot at from so many different directions. Which way are we supposed to push? Which way are we going? And I think that's right when Captain Weiler got hit. He took shrapnel to the eye, I think. But
from my memory, it was his lower face next to his lips.
There you go.
He's bleeding down by the mouth. Yeah.
Yep. And that was wild. That was just a wild day. That you don't know which way you're going. Which way you're pushing, and what's the objective here. And soon it was just we were trying to push to back everybody up, which was usually the case because we were always the QRF in our mobile assault platoon. So yeah, that was wild. I don't know if you remember that day, but
I do. I do. I remember exactly what you were talking about, and especially when Weiler got wounded, because that was when I was surprised you guys made it to us. That was after you had reinforced us because we were completely surrounded. And then all of a sudden, there's highbacks and there's more people. And I'm like, holy shit, we have double the amount of guns all of a sudden. Like, this can happen. We can move. Because I think we had made it, it was hours and we had made it 6 or 8 blocks. Like, we had not made it far because it was just wave after wave after wave of enemy. And you're just like, you're knocking them down and they're dragging them away and there's new ones coming up. And we had guys kicking down doors, but my platoon was small. On the 6th and 7th, we were 21, 22 people. And so once you put people up in the guns and drivers, that takes out half the platoon. You got 4 or 5 guys on either side of the street trying to kick down doors and clear stuff. It was real fucking hard. You guys were a sight for sore eyes. We had the CO too, but and he had Perez basically taped to his back because he was dragging him with the radio the whole time. Poor Perez.
Yeah. I know that.
Yeah, and then I mean, your description is accurate. Like, literally, I didn't even know how you guys got to us to support us because we were surrounded. We were literally surrounded on all sides. I'm surprised you didn't get shot up on the way in, but when you got there, it was great. And and then we were able to push forward and relieve the other company.
Yeah, and we did take fire coming in too. I remember just guns blazing. We're shooting out all sides and shooting at rooftops, shooting through the. I mean, there's just the whole city erupted. So
yeah.
And after that, the 7th was another day, kind of a full day. I'm just out in town, firefights, small firefights everywhere, huge firefights, getting hit with large IEDs too. And the 8th and 9th, I remember pretty vividly, and that's going door to door and checking weapons for carbon, and just door to door. I remember coming in with psyops, and those guys are next level. They'd come in with their speakers blazing, just talking shit in Arabic, talking shit, and then you have heavy metals blasting. It's like metal. It was epic, and I'm trying to. They'd call me up sometimes too, like, Herscher, what is this guy saying? What is he saying? I'm like, I have no idea. Anahonak, like, slow down when he's trying to say something to me. I'm like, he'd slow down. I'd still, what did he say? I have no fucking idea. Him slowing down did not help me at all. So, but yeah, it's usually just, you're going through, where are your weapons? And then you talk to one of the guys, Mister, no, Mister, no. And you go through the house, find like 8 AKs, 20 pistols. Like, what's all this? Mister. Like, you got me. So funny.
I remember those psyops guys would also, like, after we had gone through a house, they would like just take a handful of their pamphlets and just throw it into them down the hallway and stuff like that.
Yeah,
it's like, you guys are, what are you doing? Like that? I haven't heard about all your theories behind it, but I don't think this is doing what you think it's doing.
Yeah, no, it was not. But yeah, they were attached quite a bit when we were going door to door, and detaining quite a few people, and a lot of those weapons too had been freshly used. And I remember just going through too and pushing through the city, and you'd see holes from the 50 cals going through like 4 floors. You'd see it was going through the wall, up through the first floor, up to the second floor, up like all the way through to the sky. You just like could see all the way through. And I just remember, like, man, it was just the chaos in the rounds flying, prior to that. And then, April 10th hit, and then that was another, just absolutely huge one. I don't know what you guys remember of April 10th, but.
Well, I'm curious what you did, since we were all 3 in different platoons. My platoon was on an outer cordon on the south edge of the cordon. I'm curious what you guys did with Rainmaker.
Right, I believe we were QRF again, and we were reinforcing, I believe, Echo at one point, and Gulf again, I think. And they were pinned down, if I recall. Again, April 10th is kind of a blur.
Yeah.
And there was, it was heavy firefighting throughout the city. That was another like 16-hour one. I remember pushing through a field, and we were pushing through this field, walking through this field, and we had taken heavy fire from this area. And a Bradley was there, and it looked like the first thing that came to my mind was like a war movie. But there's a Bradley there, no one by it, and the track was blown off.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just in somebody's backyard. Like, we're in a rural area, and it's just in their backyard, just abandoned with the track blown off. I assume they went and got somebody to get the track back on, but it was just laying there. I was like, man, this is eerie. We kept pushing through this field. We'd been taking fire from there. Remember, there was a guy laying on the ground, and I think Sergeant Garcia talked about this too, but I remember he went over there, and he has his rifle up, and like, is this guy alive? Is this guy alive? And we keep walking up, we're creeping up, and we're like waiting to take him out. And he's still got his rifle up, but he wasn't there. For when I remember about him, it was either him or somebody else. We came up, we were like tapping him, we eye plucked him, nothing, no response. Gave him the old eye pluck, and rolled him over, and half his head was missing. He had got hit with a 50 cal round.
Ah.
And so like, okay, well, he's not alive, but you couldn't tell from one side. He had his head down. So we kept pushing through that field, and this guy opened fire. Just whole mag of his AK, and just spraying and praying. Right, we all hit the deck. Hodges keeps walking at this guy. Doesn't hit the deck. Doesn't flinch. Keeps walking at the guy. Pop, 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 pop. Puts his own mag into the guy. And lays him down pretty quick. And we were all like, what just happened? We didn't see this guy. He was in like this tall grass. It was insane. We're like, dude, you're an animal.
Yeah.
And, but yeah, you want that guy next to you in combat.
100%.
Yeah. And, yeah, but the fields, and we found so many field hospitals. As you guys probably remember, just going through these fields and finding these field hospitals, and how eerie those were too. You'd come in, there's nobody in there, but there's IVs everywhere hanging from things. There's stretchers all over the place, and these makeshift hospitals.
Yeah, and all kinds of weird stuff too. Like, we found one that had surgical instruments, but you're talking, this is like in a dirt floor house, like right. Not. They're definitely not a sterile. Like, it was like Civil War style medicine. There was and it looked like they were patching people up as best they could. But yeah, you're right. It was the level of sophistication, right? Because if I had to rally people on the street right now and we got into a fight, I'm not going to be able to make a field hospital in my house. It's impressive. It's impressive they were able to rally that and have it in multiple different places. And there were dozens of those found. It wasn't like there was just one or two. Right.
It's very coordinated. And I remember talking to some of the locals too in combat, on this, on 6th, 7th, and 10th, and following, and a lot of they would help their friends, if it was a friend that was fighting us, they'd drag him in, or if it was just someone they knew, or they would drag him into the house and try to give them aid as well, which, we found a few times. I remember there was a guy that got shot, and when we found him, he had holes riddled up his back from a saw or a 240. And Doc Contreras and I followed him in, and I believe Captain Weiler I know Captain Weiler, and we went into the house. We followed the blood trail, went into this house, and we're standing there, and the guy's, clearly not going to make it. And Doc is going to start working on him, but we're just standing there and watching him, take his last breath. And I remember Captain Weiler saying, "You know what to do, boys?" And we didn't. Captain Weiler walked out. We're like, I looked at Doc Contreras and I go, "Do you know what he meant?" He goes, "No." I think he meant that we can't give this guy any help. So just
He probably meant take a picture, because that's what we were supposed to do, is take a picture, document to see if it's a bad guy later.
Right.
And so,
Right. Yeah. And I just remember there was this long pause that said, "You know what to do, boys." He walks out. We're pausing. We're staring at the guy. And I looked at Doc. I was like, "Do you know what he meant?" He goes, "Nope." Okay, sick. And we just we stood there for another, 30 seconds or so. He took his last breath, and then we left. That was a surreal moment. But yeah, there's just so many instances like that where they were helping people, and why wouldn't you? You know, like if it happened here too, wouldn't you want to
Well,
help your
as
fellow
a as a
Americans? I don't know.
as a little bit of a note, I had talked to the Terps about that, and to make a long story short, what the comment was kind of going back to one of our things that we take pride in for the Marine Corps is our reputation preceded us in that they were absolutely terrified of what we would potentially do with the bodies. Like they weren't necessarily, at least this is what the interpreter said, that they weren't necessarily friends pulling in friends, but they were more worried about their countrymen or whatever having their bodies left for the Marines to deal with. And that we were, I don't know if you're going to use them in some sort of like black sacrifice or something like that, but they were,
they don't know.
They were very aware that it was Marines that they were fighting and that, you know, we were bringing it.
Yeah, and we did. Yeah, and I think after that, you know, one of the craziest memories I have is going to the day home got hit with the IED, and this is quite a bit later.
Mm-hmm.
And at this time, I am on a Mark 19. I had gone to the Mark 19. I think I sent you guys that picture, but that was the first day I got on the Mark 19, and in that fastback, and no armor. We didn't have any armor, and obviously any Humvees, but I had no plate. I had no, they're like completely covered now. You see like all the armor everybody has. I'm just up top like, hey, shoot me in the face. And I remember like IED sweeps too on that thing. You just sit on your strap. You're going to get hit. It's like which vehicle is going to get hit, and so you just kind of hold on to the mark, hold on to your little spindle there. But yeah, we had gotten home got hit, and who else? Somebody else got hit that day as well. Hurley.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that would have been the end of April, early May.
Yep. And I believe I was in the lead. We had to evacuate them. We were bringing them to Junction City, I believe. And we're hauling down Michigan, like going 60 miles an hour. I like just pedal to the metal, trying to get them going. And I thought I was the rear vehicle and on rear, and anyway, Contreras said he saw it, so I must have been the lead vehicle, because I had put my weapon forward too, because I thought they got a little ahead. However, we're going the wrong way in traffic down Michigan. We're going the opposite way. So we're flying down, and I mean, cars everywhere, swerving cars, going so fast. And a car pulls out. Dahl is my driver at the time, and my A gunner. And he pulls out, or he's going forward, and a guy looks the other way in traffic. He doesn't think to look the other way because, who's going to be coming the other way in traffic? And we hit him and just head on T-bone this guy. There's nothing we could do. We couldn't swerve in the other lane. There's a car next to us, and we just T-bone him head on. And meanwhile, they're all back with that vehicle. Their vehicle was broke down. The other one or two vehicles bring them to Junction City, home and early. And Dahl and I are stuck there. It's just Dahl and I. Our vehicles completely broke down. A lot of people don't know this story. Our vehicles completely broke down. We have no comms. Our comms are down, and we can't call for help. We can't do anything, and we're stuck there in the middle of the street, in the middle of Michigan by ourselves. And so we were like, okay, this is it. This is how it ends. So at first, no one had stopped. No one had noticed. One vehicle stopped to see if they needed help. Dahl, I believe, had some prior medical experience. And he hopped out. The guys were, they're pretty messed up. Everyone's alive, but they were, kind of bloody. He helped one of the guys, had a dislocated shoulder. And I remember him laying the guy down. I'm on the mark. I stayed on my gun. And at the time I had M16A4, and I had my pistol, and I put that on top of the Humvee, and then I literally took frags off my.
Yeah, you're preparing for the Alamo at that point.
I thought this is it. This is the end. And so I'm like, and I had an ACOG, and I was like, I can't shoot them with the mark. They're too close, but I will. Like, they won't explode, so I won't hurt. I was like, I'm just gonna have to put them through their chest. I don't know if we get worked here. And so he pops this guy's shoulder back in. I stay up top there on the mark, and we're stuck there. We're there for probably 45 minutes to an hour, and no comms. I don't know if they called it in. We have no idea what's happening. And so there's like a huge housing tenement kind of thing there, and it unloads all of the people. They hear all the horns like stuck on. They come out and to their vehicle. They come out and everybody surrounds our vehicle. There's people stopping now with cars on Michigan, and we're surrounded by people. And I'm like, okay, and that's like, there's 5 minutes until actually somebody came, and so we're completely surrounded. And I have all my stuff. They're all screaming at us in Arabic. I can catch every other, like a word here and there. And I'm yelling in bata, get down on your stomachs. Obviously, no one's listening to me. And I'm sitting there with my mark, and I remember, and I'm bloody all over. So I had blasted my face on the handguard. So I'm all bloody down the face. I hit my thing. In fact, Contreras afterwards, Dr. Contreras said I broke it. It was broken. I hit it with my Kevlar in my face, and there's blood all over my face too. Never did get a Purple Heart for that, but whatever. Anyway, so we're surrounded. I'm like, this is it. This is how we go. I'm just going to start. I'm going to tell them to get in the vehicle, and I'm going to start throwing frags. And they start, like, they didn't rock the vehicle yet, but they're starting to push Dahl. And then they're like on the vehicle at this point, and not like on top of it, but they're right next to it. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, we see Humvees coming the right way in traffic down Michigan. And we're like screaming, hey, hey, hey. And the U-turn is Gunny Merarkey. The U-turn, pull up, everybody jumps out of the vehicles, poking weapons going, weapons ready anyway. And they're getting everybody back. I was like, oh my God, dude, I have never been happier to see anyone in my life, dude. And I don't know if Nyla was with them. Was that you?
Maybe. I don't remember rescuing you, so no, I don't know.
Yeah, and I was Gunny Merarkey was there. I remember, and everybody just surrounded them. They got everybody back. We hopped in a vehicle with somebody else, and somebody came and towed it out. But that was terrifying.
I heard that one before.
I was gonna say I don't remember this story at all. That's why I don't think I was involved. Yeah,
if you get Dahl on, that was it. We were like, okay, buddy, what do we do? He's like, I have no idea. I said, all right, what we're going to do is you're going to hop in the vehicle. If they start getting crazy, hop in the vehicle. I'm going to start throwing frags, dude.
Yeah. Not much else to do at that point.
No, absolutely not. And that was terrifying. Yeah, we were ready. And I remember, I don't know what I was going to do with my little Beretta and my I was 16 to start going to town. But yeah, I'd never been happier to see Gunny Merarkey.
If you like what you've heard, this is a multi-part episode. Make sure you listen to the rest of the story.